Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah Alexander and goodness me, has it been a while. There are a fair few reasons as to why I've been away, but the fact is it mostly boils down to last year really destroyed my love for movies. I mean, the year started out pretty well and The Batman was fantastic, but it went drastically downhill. Multiverse of Madness was a bitter disappointment. Sam Raimi and Elizabeth Olsen, I think, were really let down by the studio, who were banking on nostalgia being a big factor, and I don't think it did them any favours. Honestly, I've mostly given up on the MCU at this point. I only watched one of their projects this year, which I'll get into in the next video. I don't have much more to say about Multiverse of Madness. I've got a lot more to say about the other two films that I'm going to talk about. But Multiverse of Madness just really was tragic. Like, it was just disappointing, as I said. Jurassic World Dominion was just a load of rubbish. I think their main mistake was not making the dinosaurs the main antagonist of the film. We've always had human antagonists in the Jurassic Park series, like Dennis in the first movie, and then Henry Wong and Hoskins in Jurassic World, and so on and so forth throughout the rest of this franchise. But the main antagonist and the driving point of the movies was always the dinosaurs. 1 and 2 were the T-Rex and the raptors. 3 was the Spinosaurus. Jurassic World was of course the Indominus Rex, and then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was the Indoraptor, which, I mean, we can all agree that Fallen Kingdom wasn't great, but I thought the Indoraptor was a good antagonist, as you would say. It was scary. I mean, I was scared. I do have a thing about dinosaurs though. I don't know if I've ever gone into it on the channel, but I used to have recurring nightmares about them and I still struggle with them. But I found that scary. But in Dominion, it really felt like the dinosaurs were background characters in a movie about dinosaurs. And don't even get me started on those atrocious animatronics. I honestly struggle to think of one good thing about that movie. The only thing that comes to mind for me is Claire's development, but even that was really weak. The whole film just fell really flat for me. Oh, I will say having Alan and Ellie back was good, but it also didn't feel necessary to the storyline. Like, it could have been done so much better. It could have been so much more exciting, but it was all flat. I'm sure I don't have to say anything about Morbius. We all know that was a trash fire, so the less said about that, the better. Now we come to the final nail in the coffin, even though I think it may have come out before Dominion. The Secrets of Dumbledore. Well, I think they should have kept those secrets to themselves. I had such high hopes for this series when they first released Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It was a new and fresh look into this world that we've grown up loving and brought out the love of books for a lot of us. Like, I know that I did read before Harry Potter, but it definitely introduced me to the world of fantasy. Crimes of Grindelwald was a bit stale, but it was still pretty enjoyable to watch. Secrets of Dumbledore was the worst film that I watched last year by a country mile, and I do watch some shit. Even Eddie Redmayne and Callum Turner's relationship couldn't save it. And by that I mean obviously Newt and whatever Newt's brother is called, just Callum Turner. But I do love me some Callum Turner. Credence being Aberforth's son was just completely ridiculous, and I understand it was the only way that they could fit it into the storyline of him being a Dumbledore. I don't care. It was stupid. It takes place in Berlin in 1937, pre-war, and there's no mention of Hitler or the Nazis. Even after Grindelwald showed all of the wizards in that big weird thing that he had for them a vision of the oncoming war in Crimes of Grindelwald, I mean. What was the point of choosing Berlin at that time if you're not going to incorporate it into the storyline? The admission of love from Dumbledore to Grindelwald did not feel organic in the slightest. It felt like a desperate bid to win back favour from the filmmakers, sorry. And finally, I'm sure you all know what's coming, but the decision of the Quillen, can't remember how it's pronounced, It quite clearly should have chosen Jacob. I mean, there's just no arguments in that, in my opinion. It would have shown all of them that magic doesn't make you superior, and then it would have made their wedding at the end make sense because America would have had to change its laws. He always put his friends above himself, and he really was just the best character in the series. Having the Quillin choose Dumbledore was so lazy. This is a man who, by self-admission, has always been tempted by power, which is why he never took the job for Minister for Magic. He always stayed at Hogwarts. I know that he turned it down and made it choose someone else, but they still had it choose him. And if it didn't choose Jacob, it should have chosen Newt. But I don't know if that's just my opinion because of how he treats his creatures. But like, as Sirius Black said, or look at the way they treat those below them. I can't remember it completely, but you know what I mean. The way he treats his creatures is a true sign of his soul. Honestly, this film made me so glad that they're cutting this series short and not making another, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't heard anywhere that they're making another one, but if we're going by box office numbers, it would be really foolish of them to continue. The only thing I'm sad about is not seeing Dumbledore and Grindelwald's duel. This doesn't mean I'm done with Harry Potter though. I have lots of thoughts on the TV show that HBO are making, which I will talk about in an upcoming video. This year, however, has been much better for movies, which has brought this channel back to life. I will be doing a ranking of all the films that I saw in cinema this year in my next video. Let me know what you think the worst film of last year was down in the comments, and let me know if you disagree with my thoughts on the movies that I mentioned. Remember to keep it respectful, everybody's allowed an opinion. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.